Hey guys, I'm Chris Brady, and today we are talking about tantrums and meltdowns. Woohoo! So, I would say one of the most common questions that I get asked is how to tell the difference between a tantrum and a meltdown, and what do we do with either? This is a huge topic for every parent, but especially for parents whose children are experiencing really intense emotions or sensory processing difficulties, because we need to know the difference between the two. Again, this is all about informing our approach so that we have better outcomes from every situation we put ourselves into. This is with any human being, but really for parents. Um, so let's start off with tantrums. When we are looking at a tantrum, we can, sometimes it can get a bit difficult to navigate, like, where is this going? What exactly is going on here? We know in the moment if it's really obvious, if we're in the mall and they or in a store and they want a certain toy and we've said, we know we're not buying any toys today, and the tantrum happens, then we know it's a tantrum. We know that that child is trying to get something that they want right now, right? And that's an easy one. um, but other ones are more difficult. So when our child is trying to get attention, right? It can be positive attention, it can be negative attention. When something is going on with the child where they're seeking out attention, no matter what kind of attention it is, that can be really hard to decipher. Sometimes there's stuff going on with the parents. Sometimes mom and dad have been really busy for a long time and they just haven't been able to give the attention that the child needs. Sometimes they're not experiencing the right type of attention. And so they're just seeking out anything. And because attention, it starts way back here and it can lead up to this tantrum. So, yes, it is about getting what they want, but we're not always sure when it's a attention seeking tantrum where that's coming from. So, two things we want to look out for, okay, if we don't know. Um, there are two ways that a tantrum is going to stop, right? You're either going to give in and give them what they want, and then all of a sudden, good things are happening, right? And sometimes we do that in the moment because we're tired and we're tired of fighting, and we just give in. The other way that the tantrum will stop is if the child starts to realize that you are not going to be giving him what he wants in that moment, right? And I mean, sometimes these kids are so good at it. I've seen I've seen plenty of children who are just, they're outraged. They're ah, right? They control it to the point where they will make sure they will take a second just to look back and see if you are noticing the point they are trying to make, right? They can control it to that extent. Um, but either way, it's going to stop whether they get what they want or they notice that they're not getting what they want. But they have that control to end it, right? And so it's purposeful and there's some control there. The meltdown is very different because oftentimes they get into a situation where there isn't really a lot of control. And I know some parents are going to be like, "Oh, everybody controls their own fate." Blah, blah, blah. Let's talk into this in a minute, okay? So there isn't a lot of control in that moment, okay? When the meltdown is happening, you can see it as a parent. When you know your kid, you can see something's going on right now that is so overwhelming that I mean you can load up piles of toys, brand new everything that your child wants all around him. He doesn't give a crap because in that moment there is no control. The emotion has taken over. The overwhelm from the sensory overload has taken over. So this is not about getting what they want anymore. You can give them what they want. It's not going to stop. So this is where we start to notice those differences. And the meltdowns can happen for a long duration. right? Um, and these are really difficult moments for parents. They can often happen when we're out in public because something has triggered this, and we're not always exactly on top of everything, especially if we've got other kids and, there's so much else going on and we're just trying to get through all of what's going on with COVID and we didn't even want to come out here in the first place, right? And there's going to be so much going on that we're not really sure where that trigger came from. But either way, something is happening right now that is begging for our attention. And this is the first thing that can happen. So I'm going to give you 3 tips. Number 1, we want to talk about where your mindset is in that moment. Okay. So oftentimes parents go into this judgment, right? We feel judgment as parents. We give judgment as parents. And there's this right way of parenting, and then there's the wrong way of parenting. And the right way is usually whatever we're doing, right? It validates the person's parenting or way of living. And the wrong way is everyone else. And we feel this judgment on us as well because other parents will judge. And so when our child is having a meltdown in public, and we start to think, okay, so everyone's looking at me right now. Everyone is thinking I'm a terrible mother. Everyone's thinking I'm the worst parent in the world. I have no control over my child. I have no control over my parenting skills. I don't have any parenting skills. And everyone just wants me to get out of here. And, they're really bothered by having me around right now, right? This is what can happen. I'm a bad parent and my child is a bad child. And we stay up here. We get stuck up here because we also become pretty emotional in this state. And this is the key for the first step. We really need to get out of here. Stop thinking about what other people are thinking. Okay, first step, we have no idea what other people are thinking. Many people are thinking, poor you right now. I wish I could help you, but I don't know how. Okay, and the other people that are thinking anything else, who cares about them ever anyway? Okay, because we don't even, like that's not somewhere we ever need to go, ever. So who cares what other people are thinking? You are doing what you need to do for your child in that moment, and you're doing the best job you can. Okay, and anyone who thinks differently, who cares about them? So whatever you're doing for your child in that moment, that's all that's ever going to matter anyway, okay? And they need you present. They can't have you up here. You need to be there with them in that moment. So the second thing, and this is why you need to be on top of things, is because you need to give them an out. I want you to think about a time when you became really overwhelmed, you became really frustrated or angry, and you could feel everything starting to rise, and it was fight or flight, and you need to get the heck out of there before this fight really starts to happen, right? And you have an out. You are an adult. You are able to leave the house and go for a walk. You are able to leave that mall anytime you want. You can leave the school. You can leave your work. You can leave. You have that freedom. Children don't. They might feel that, there are certain triggers in this environment that I can start to feel these emotions are getting really intense, and I'm not sure what to do with all of this processing, but I don't have an out. And if I do anything right now, mom's going to get mad. She's already frustrated, right? So this is some of the thought process for them. And so anxiety can actually start building up about even having a meltdown in the first place, which is obviously going to further the meltdown, right? So what we really want to do is make sure that our child has an out, okay? So we're going to give them, that ability to say, Mom, I need to get out before like something's starting to happen. I don't like, whatever's going on right now, and I need some fresh air. I need to get out of here. And they just need to give you one signal. Okay? So this is going to give them their out. This is going to say, we don't care about what other people are thinking right now. And this actually, this more so goes into the preventative stuff that I'm going to talk about in day 2 or 3. But in that moment, they still need an out. So if we're taking them to the car, if we are taking them for a walk, if we are even just, I've done this with other children, if I'm just hovering around them, okay, to make sure that, you know what, nobody can see you right now. I don't have to say it because they know I'm present right there. I'm going to hover around you. I'm going to protect you and I'm going to be with you right now in this moment with you. And that is such a bonding experience. You can talk about all that stuff afterward, okay? But in that moment, you just need to be present. And that brings me to my third tip, which is don't talk. Parents often think that we need to, have these big conversations and divulge all of our amazing parenting skills and advice. No, we don't. Talk is really overrated, especially in moments like that. They're not processing the information as is, which is why they're having the meltdown in the first place. So giving them more information to try to process, A, isn't going to happen, and B, is just going to further overwhelm. So don't talk. This isn't the time to lecture. This isn't the time to do anything like that. Even if it's trying to explain the situation, just don't talk. Just be there, present with them. Let them know that you support them and you don't give a crap what other people think, and we are in this together. So those are some of my tips. If you have any comments or suggestions for some things that have happened that worked for you, I love hearing from people who have experienced these difficulties. I'm sorry. I love hearing from people who have experienced these difficulties themselves as children. I love to hear what's happened that was really beneficial, what your parents did that helped or didn't help. Because we need to have these conversations. We need to be helping other parents. We need to be helping our children. And so if you have comments or suggestions, please, I would love to hear from you. Comment below. You can go to chrisbrady.com. You can, send me a personal email if you don't feel like commenting. And if this was helpful to you at all as a parent, please like and just help to get this message to other parents. Okay, thanks so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.